of their choice. And what I'd like to do is get things started by hearing from some special guests. The first guest up is our superintendent, Tom Gorman. A little fun fact about Tom is that Tom and I actually played here at Ridgewood High School at the same time. I'm a little older, but we were on the Ridgewood High School football field at the same exact time. So we've known each other for a long time, and I'll turn it over to Tom for a message from him.
Good evening, players, coaches, and parents. We appreciate you joining us this evening. I'm Tom Gorman, the principal of the high school and now acting superintendent of Ridgewood Public Schools. So this was an unprecedented season, and you all know that. You're all living it right now. But the players and the coaches, you did what you had to do. You did everything you had to do to comply with the measures and the protocols that we put in place. And because of that, you were able to get a whole season in. Many school districts were not able to do that, but you succeeded in complying and working with us, and I'm very happy that you were able to have such a great season. Along with that, football is all about camaraderie, accomplishing goals, and succeeding together as a team. And by listening to the protocols, by listening to your coaches, by doing what you needed to do in your different positions, you were able to succeed overall as a team, but also these lessons will now carry forward to life. You're going to succeed in life because of the lessons you learned on the gridiron. Moving forward, you're going to be talking about these stories and memories, and that's what life's all about. When you get together with your buddies years from now at graduation, reunions, and other things, you're going to tell all these war stories, and this year will be no different. Past weekend, I was able to get together with some of my high school and college buddies that I played football with, and we shared all these great fond memories of those tough days, that we all hated being out there, but also those great laughs and those great fun moments that we had. And, we were just sharing this, and you have this bond, this special bond that you have with each other, that you've been through the battle together, but also with these coaches, and you're going to think fondly upon them the years to come. And, you're going to stay in touch with everybody, and it's just great stuff. So these are the memories, these are the shared stories that will get you through this whole pandemic that we're in right now, and will also get you through the tough times later in life. Hopefully you've learned all these lessons, and these things and these bonds that you've built will be able to, get you through whatever you have to do when you're in college or even beyond when you're workforce, when you're having some difficulties. So just moving forward, just remember these great times. Remember how much you are loved here at Ridgewood High School, how much your parents did for you throughout the years, what your coaches taught you, and bring these life lessons to wherever you have to, whatever you encounter, whatever problems you do, and you will succeed. But by relying on each other, by reaching out to each other, remembering these stories and these lessons, this is what's going to take to succeed in life, and this is what it'll take to be a successful human being and individual. Thank you, good luck with everything, and congratulations on a great season.
All right, thank you, Tom. Thank you very much, appreciate it. Next up, we're going to hear from our athletic director, Keith Cook. Keith and I have had the opportunity to work together over the last few years. I've been working on the setup crew, and Keith has always been there on game day. Keith is behind the scenes. He gets everything out on the field. He makes sure that the PA system is announced. He allows me to put the banners up. We get the chain gang together. And the one thing I'll say about Keith that's great is he's always available to me. The game days have run very smoothly. So I really appreciate all the help and effort he's given. So I'm going to move it on to Keith Cook, who I believe we have tonight.
All right. Well, I want to start by thanking you guys for allowing me to be a part of this evening. This is a special event and a special group for sure. And I want to extend my gratefulness and my gratitude, to Jamie and the scholarship committee for all they provide, for all the things that they do to make sure that the players are taken care of, the program is taken care of, and the coaches are taken care of. It makes my life so much easier when you have a entity like that. with the parents from far and wide, so willing to make sure that everything is catered to. So Jamie, thank you for the phenomenal job you've done, as well as the rest of the members of the scholarship committee. I kind of see tonight as, celebration of, a season plus. If we look back and reflect upon that epic game at MetLife, and that regional championship, and then moving forward through the pandemic, I can't thank the coaching staff enough for what they were able to accomplish and how they were able to continue to move the program forward. And that all starts with Coach Cord, and his staff, the resiliency that they showed, the resourcefulness that they've showed, and more importantly, the flexibility. I really don't think anyone truly understands over the last several months, how handcuffed they were with various COVID restrictions, especially when you play a sport like football that relies on close, contact in a time when we're not supposed to be so close. So for the resourcefulness, the inventive ways that they found to think outside of the box to make sure that they can continue with the things that need to be tended to, as far as teaching technique, schemes, and everything, in between. I mean, I tip my cap and am so grateful, for the time and effort they put in and the way that they handled it and the way that they would always ask and collaborate. It truly was a team effort throughout the staff when you look at what was accomplished, varsity, JV, and freshmen, and the experience that they were able to provide, the positive experience through a pandemic. I think a lot of times we throw out the term, a season like no other. I think it truly fits this year. When I look to the student athletes, although there wasn't a title on the line per se, I'm saying you guys all walked off the field champions at the end of this year. As Dr. Gorman said, we were able to get all 8 games on the schedule in. And for me, that was 8 opportunities to get better, 8 opportunities to show what you were made of, 8 opportunities to challenge yourself. But more importantly, 8 opportunities to have memories with your friends and your brothers, at arms here on the football team, and things you will reflect upon, and to look at all the different circumstances all our student athletes are facing. I am just so thankful because I know that I was a giant nag to all of you, trying to remind you to take a step or 2 back from one another, to put your mask up. And you guys did it with respect, to the administration, respect to the staff, but more importantly, when it boils down to it, it was respect to yourselves and the program to ensure that we were able to get from day 1 all the way to that last day in West Morris. So again, thankful to working with such extraordinary student athletes that are mature and wise beyond their years, with what I see across the board, on my daily basis. Special thanks to Mark and Phil for all they do to enhance and promote the team, in the various social media avenues. Again, it is such a pleasure and a bonus to be able to have those things again, to really showcase what you guys are doing as student athletes and coaches. And last but not least, I want to thank Laura Grasso for probably having the most painstaking job on the season with ticket distribution allocation, making sure that every and as many parents could attend each game. It was a grueling job, and I thank her for being able to do that and give her time and being my gate buddy each week, when we were on the road, and making sure that we were there to hand out tickets to the right people as they came in. And again, special thanks to the coaching staff for all that they have done, over the months to make sure that everything was provided that could be provided for you guys. These are going to be times you're going to look back upon, and I'm hoping in fond memories, and that you're able to make the most out of your experience here. And once again, special thanks to the scholarship committee for all that they do as well. It truly is a extraordinary place to work, and I'm grateful for all the opportunities that I have and all the experiences that I get to share in with you. I kind of feel sometimes that I take advantage of the experiences, and I'm grateful for the community support and for all that they bring to a game night experience. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you to both of you guys. I appreciate it. I know you're thanking us, but really we thank you. I don't think people really understand what goes in, and the tickets. The tickets are that's a totally different issue. I totally forgot about that. I remember sitting in Keith's office one day, going through tickets and putting them in envelopes so that we could count them out and make sure that every game, that every particular game was counted for. That was a bit of a headache, but to Keith's credit, he got it straightened out every day, and I really appreciate that. Next up, we have another special guest we're going to have on right now. I'm not going to mention his name because you all know in about 30 seconds when we put him on who he is. He's been a staple in the Ridgewood High School football program for over 30 years. And another fun fact that I mentioned with Tom, he was actually my coach when I was at Ridgewood High School, which I know says that I'm really old. But I finished my high school career here in 1986. And as Tom was saying, there's a lot of good memories. I still have friends from that team, the 1986 team. And I believe it was this gentleman's second year here when he took over this program. So without further ado, if we can roll the next speaker, that'd be great. Thank you.
I want to thank Jamie Mcdermott and the Ridgewood Scholarship Committee for giving me the opportunity to share a few words with you guys tonight as part of this wonderful event. Believe me, the last thing I wanted to do was miss the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to coach this group of guys this past fall. I'm now feeling better and better every day. I've gained back 45 of the over 50 pounds I lost last year as a result of the staph infection, which I contracted. It's been a long, long haul for sure. But I'm just going to keep on grinding in my rehab program until I'm totally back to being me. I want to congratulate everyone here on completing the 2020 football season together. This has been the craziest football season of all time. Just a tremendous challenge for our students, for our teachers, all our coaches, all our administrators, parents, and friends of Ridgewood football. Before I talk about the team and the season, I want to take a minute to congratulate Dr. Gorman upon his appointment as the superintendent of schools for Ridgewood. I know we all wish him the best, and I have total confidence he'll be outstanding in his new position. I also want to thank outgoing Superintendent Dr. Dan Fishbein for all he did for our district. I had the opportunity to work as a teacher and as a coach in the district under Dan's leadership. He was simply one of the finest administrators I ever had the privilege of working for. Only wish him the best in his next life challenge. Now, I want to thank all the players. I want to thank all the coaches, headed by Coach Cord. I want to thank members of the Ridgewood Football Scholarship Committee, the best booster organization in the state. I want to thank all the parents for all you did to make the 2020 season a reality and a success. Finally, a very special thank you to our seniors. It absolutely killed me to be unable to coach you guys each day because I love each and every one of you. Please, everyone understand what COVID-19 took away from this team. So many things that have enabled previous teams to achieve successes were not possible in 2020 due to COVID. The fitness center's been shut down since March. Our traditional summer workouts were severely limited. The preseason practice sessions were reduced significantly. These were all opportunities previous teams were afforded that led to outstanding performances on game day by Ridgewood football teams. This team did not have those opportunities. But lacking those events in the team's off-season did not deter this group whatsoever. In the middle of September, when Governor Murphy allowed practices to commence, they could then prepare and compete, making the most of their opportunity in 2020. To our entire program, frosh, softs, juniors, seniors, just an absolutely tremendous job of making the very best of a crazy situation. To our underclassmen, super job, fellas. My question to you all now is, how good do you want to be going forward in 2021? To use one of the famous quotes of the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King, please consider embracing his mentality that he espoused, which was the fierce urgency of now. Simply meaning, now is the best time to get better. What are you going to do today to become a better football player? The offseason has been the time when our state championship teams of 91, 03, 04, 16, 18, and 19 and other years have done the work that it takes to be successful in the fall. How good do you want to be? I hope your actions from today forward will show me and your teammates what you want for the 2021 season. And finally, to our seniors, I could not be prouder of how you conducted yourselves this season. Our times together, whether on Stevens Field, in the fitness center, on the game field, as well as get-togethers on my porch, are all safely stored away in my memory. I look forward to now hearing about all the special interactions you and the rest of the team experienced together throughout this very special season. Again, gentlemen, I love you all. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. Nice to hear from him. Good to see that he's doing well. Definitely on the mend. Looks great. We're going to move ahead now. I'm going to turn a portion of this night over now to Coach Cord. He'll take the rest of the night over until I come back at the end, because he's going to actually get into the meat and potatoes of the night. But before I do that, I just want to say, as Keith Cook alluded to, I'm not sure that there's a coach, certainly in this area for sure, who had more to deal with than Dave Cord. 2 years ago, Dave was put in charge of the entire football program in about 24 hours notice when Coach Johnson went down. And, he came in, he righted the ship. He got us to MetLife, got us a state victory in MetLife. And his reward for all of that was to come back the next year and be hit with a COVID year. So Dave comes back, finds out that all his practice time is gone. The wing T camp is gone. So he comes back, and because of spikes in the town at that point, nothing could be done. And for those of you who don't know this story, back in the summer, Dave actually took it upon himself to start his own camp so that we would not fall far behind. He put it together in about a week and got all the kids down to the field to be able to practice. Truly amazing. I'm not sure on the exact amount, but I believe that there were only 2 or 3 teams up here in the northern New Jersey who actually got their 8 games in. I think it was actually in the record at one point or they told Dave that. And I take that as a true tribute to not only Dave, but his entire staff for keeping our boys safe. Every week it seemed there was another school district going down, some of who we were supposed to play. And we never had that. We never had that issue. And obviously it was a challenging year. We upped our degree of competition. I think we played some teams that have been state champions over the last couple of years. And I'm just really impressed with what Dave was able to put together over the last 2 years. Again, having the adversity and things that he's had to face. Truly an example to the boys of how to overcome and move on and don't make excuses. So that all said, I'm going to turn it over to Dave. It's been very nice getting to know him over the last couple of years. He was an assistant, obviously. And me being chairman of the scholarship committee, we had a lot of interaction this year. And I've gotten to know him pretty well. He's got a young family going now. And so I'm very happy to turn it over to Dave.
Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. And thank you, Keith Cook and everybody for the nice words. This is truly a team effort. And, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Ridgewood High School football banquet. Obviously a banquet, my first, and a banquet unlike anything we have seen before. I wish we could be all together to celebrate this tremendous season and careers these athletes have had. But instead we'll end the season much like we started, via Zoom. 2020 was certainly a different year in all aspects of life. We have made changes to our lifestyles, how we celebrate holidays, how we go to school, and certainly how a football season is conducted. Having the season was no small feat. Trying to conduct a full contact sport that has absolutely no social distancing tested the creativity of everyone involved. Meetings were virtual, strength training was individual, pre-game meetings were outside, and players carried their equipment just like they did in their junior football days. Despite the lack of luxuries of locker rooms, meeting rooms, pasta dinners in our CAF, players persevered, and 2020 was definitely a success. Before continuing, I would be remiss if I didn't say a few thank yous. Starting with our administration, Keith Cook, Tom Gorman, we absolutely appreciate your support in ensuring the 2020 season happened. I'm sure the easier choice back in August would have been to just scrap the season and focus on reopening and keeping our schools open. Instead, you recognize the importance of football and the role it plays in shaping the young men of the Ridgewood community. Second, to the scholarship committee. I don't believe there's an organization that rivals you in the state. It is a tremendous effort and often a thankless job to fundraise for this football program and scholarships for those who play in it. It was a pleasure to get to know you and sit in on your weekly meetings, and your work truly makes a difference for the student athletes that walk through this program. From the kickoff dinner to the pasta party that were true COVID style outdoors and on the church parking lot, you guys somehow pulled it off. In a year where business donations were down where business donations were down and gatherings were a challenge, you somehow did not miss a beat. Thank you for your unconditional support to me, and most importantly, making this program the best it could be. I know I'm going to miss some names. I'd like to thank Jamie Mcdermott for his leadership during this crazy season. You're a voice of reason, ever adapting to the changing situations. Trevor, and especially Ryder Langsdale, for putting this wonderful night together. I mean, if anybody needs a party, there can't be somebody better in town that's more organized and on top of it than Ryder. Shawn Emanuel for putting the golf tour together. Mark Cossack and Uncle Phil will be rolling this production tonight. Christine Chanley, Christina Dunnigan, Jeff Glock, Greg Smith, John Kayafa, Laura Grasso, John Oros, and the many others I'm sure I'm missing. Thank you for your time and care in making this football program as good as it possibly can be. Obviously, I must thank my staff. I couldn't have come close to getting this train rolling without them. From our weekly Zoom meetings dating back to June to our Sunday morning game plan meetings, you did everything I asked for and more. First and foremost, I appreciate the way you treated the kids and the way you modeled behavior. As schedules changed, then changed, and changed a third time, you rolled with the punches, and I will forever be indebted to your commitment to this program and your commitment to helping the young student athletes grow both on and off the field. My final thank you is to the players. From changing into your equipment on the field to our Tuesday 20 films, you took a tough situation of a new coach, short preseason, extremely difficult schedule, and faced the challenge head on. Could have run and hid as we stumbled out of the blocks, but instead you chose to keep working, to not lose faith, to rally off wins in 3 of the last 4 weeks against some of the top teams in the area. As we roll through the night, you'll hear about trial and tribulations of this team, and most importantly, a group of tough, hard-nosed seniors who refuse to give up on their final season as a Maroon. First up to speak from the coaching staff is after playing here as a student, this coach coached for 18 seasons here before leaving to coach in Fairlawn and Ramapo before returning to Ridgewood for the 2020 campaign. Without further ado, I introduce Tori Watson.
Good evening, everybody. I welcome you here. I want to say thank you for having me to the administration and to the scholarship committee. I'm happy to be here celebrating the 2020 RHS football team. I just want to start off by congratulating them on starting and finishing very, very different season. From the beginning to the end, showed commitment, they showed adaptability, perseverance, focus, managed to make a great season out of an unknown, difficult challenge that was put there before all of us. Special thanks to the senior class that showed great leadership and great commitment to lead that group throughout the entire process. I'd like to thank the entire team and the coaching staff for a tremendous season and for the opportunity to coach and experience all of that with all of you. I believe now we're going to hear from some of our seniors.
Hello, I'm Cameron Smith. I'm an outside linebacker and tight end, and I played Ridgewood football since I was in 3rd grade. Probably my biggest takeaway from playing football here is just the value of working with a team for a shared goal. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the outcome is. I mean, everybody obviously wants to win MetLife, get the ring on their finger, and it's great when you do those things. But what I feel like football players truly value the most is the bond that you create with one another. At the beginning of the season, you're immediately brought into a family, and it doesn't matter the age or skill level of your teammates, they all become your brothers. And I feel like that's what makes football so special, is it naturally creates those connections between all of your teammates, and the memories that you create with one another, you're gonna have for the rest of your life. I mean, you're not gonna look back on those tough times where you're driving bags or coaches yelling at you or the losses. You're gonna look back on all of the great memories that you shared and created with all of your teammates. So I just want to thank all of my past teammates for just giving me a great experience. And not only was it a great high school experience, but it's just a great life experience I'm going to take with me into the future. And for anybody who's thinking about playing, I think it's worth it no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're on the bench, doesn't matter if you're a star player. Everybody takes something from the game and takes something from being on that team. And I think it's only a positive thing. I think you'll love it if you start playing. So thank you.
Hey guys, it's Shawn Emanuel. I'm a senior. I played football for 3 years and I was a captain this year. One thing that we took out of this season collectively was getting faced with a very difficult circumstance and trying to overcome that. And for the older kids, like the kids graduating this year, Coach Johnson, he brought that mentality to practice, to the games, off season, whatever it was, especially in the weight room. But E plus R equals O, and I will always remember that. It'll always be engraved in my mind, and it's a simple and effective way to get through whatever problems you'll be faced with, whether that be in high school for the young kids or extracurriculars, whatever stressful activities you're, occupying your time with. Over the summer, we were practicing at, Vets and Maple. The conditions weren't the best. It wasn't the most ideal. We weren't one of the first teams to get back to practicing for COVID. But we finished with a winning record, and we made up for it. We made the best of what we got. So, I have to keep this short, but, it was nice reaching out. Sorry this has to be virtual, but for the young kids, if you guys get a championship next year, better bring home that ring. If you don't, I'll be mad. So, all right, guys, thanks.
Hello, my name is Chanad. I'm a wingback and a rover, and I played 11 total years of football starting in 2nd grade. So we're on a time limit, so I'm gonna try and keep this short. So first, I would thank all my high school football coaches and my junior football coaches, as well as my mom and dad. So today I'm gonna talk about some qualities that I took away from playing football for all these years. So the two that stood out to me most were leadership and perseverance. So as being a senior captain, the team, especially the underclassmen, look up to you, and you have to set that example for them. So especially one scenario that stands out to me is in the summer when it's hot, it's early in the morning, kids don't want to be there. You have to really go 110% and show them what it means to be a rigid football player. And secondly, I want to talk about perseverance. A lot throughout my high school career, I went through injury and adversity. It was hard sitting in the silence and watching everyone play, but it's part of the game and you have to get through it. My junior year, I tore my hip flexor and fractured my hip, and then going into my senior year, second week of practice, I ended up dislocating my kneecap and tearing my MPFL, so that sent me back out for 6 weeks, and I had to go through a bunch of physical therapy just to get back on the field, and I was thankful that I was able to finish out my senior season. So I want to give a big shout out to the trainers for being there every day after school and helping me get back out on the field. Without you guys, I don't know where I'd be, because I was in there so much. A tip I want to give you underclassmen is to definitely lift this off season, because it'll help you on the field, but also to stretch, because that's big on injury prevention and getting rid of soreness too. I think it's one of the most important aspects of the game, because when you're injured, you can't help out the team really. It's kind of tough and it's not fun just sitting there. So the last note I want to give you guys is I'm excited to come back and watch you play, but I'm most excited for the alumni 7-on-7. So Dan Kayafa might pick you off next year.
Some awesome messages from our seniors and our captains there. You know, I heard Keith Cook say it before. I think sometimes we're spoiled by just how mature and and knowledgeable our young men and that come through this football program. And obviously this starts and ends with you guys. So throughout the night, we're going to hear from our captains. One of the disappointing things about this being virtual is we lose some of our interaction, but you know, I'm looking forward to watching these videos as we go through the night. And before I introduce our next coach, I'd like to explain something found in the players' baskets. I sat down at the end of December in an attempt to draw a line between JV and varsity. And after speaking with the staff, we decided we are doing things differently this year. This team does not function if we are not whole. Whether you played every snap on Friday night or cheered from the sideline, your contribution mattered and deserves recognition. Guys like Shawn Emanuel, Colin Feeney do not score touchdowns and make big plays without the effort of guys like Joe Hernandez and Derek Anderson, who, for lack of the better words, got their ass kicked day in and day out, just to make sure we were ready to play that week. This team doesn't function without the selfless acts of guys like Jake Kleinman, who changes positions midseason, not because it meant he would be able to play more, but because he knew it was for the betterment of the team. And the list goes on and on and on. I'm proud to announce that all 63 members of this football team earned a varsity letter, and I use that word earned. Rest assured, no one was given anything. Character is often defined as what you do when no one's watching. Well, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the young guys on this team went to work when no one but their teammates and their coaches were watching. For that, you have all earned a varsity letter. It was delivered to your houses today, and wear it proudly. Congratulations. Next up is a short video of the guys who played their football on Mondays instead of Friday, followed by Coach Maxwell, who is another coach who returned after being a player. Coach Maxwell is just in his second year and brings a unique and welcome perspective to our program.
That was fun. I hadn't seen any of those videos, so it was good to see that stuff. Hi, everyone. Coach Maxwell. Thanks to the scholarship committee for putting this event together. Over this pandemic, we've all had some extra time on our hands, so I decided to write a song instead of a speech this year. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. Quick thumbs up. Did you think I was going to sing? Anyone? No. All right, JV. So I thought you guys did an absolutely incredible job this year. I think for a normal non-pandemic year, it was incredible. And just to think about all the things that we went through as a school, as a country, as a world, it just makes it that much more incredible with what you guys accomplished. We were running on the ball stuff as an offense. We were calling all the different blitz packages as the defense. We had plays that weren't in the varsity playbook. We were giving varsity guys game speed looks every week in practice to make them better. And I'm so happy that you're all getting a varsity letter for this. I think that's important. So quick recap of the season. We came out of the gate strong with a big win versus Wayne Hills. Varsity had lost by 1 a couple days earlier. And our first home game versus Northern Highlands, we didn't score a touchdown. We got beat up pretty good. Then we went to Hackensack and lost, but I think that's really where the season changed for us. We fumbled the ball a few times. We couldn't get off the field on defense, and we lost the game. I think that we all knew we absolutely should have won. And sometimes, seeing what it takes to lose a game is as important as seeing what it takes to win a game. We ended the season with a 3-game win streak, and every single person on the team, including Coach Santiago and myself, I think got better. So just a couple of thoughts about all you guys. Darby, you're our good luck charm. Bermudez, you're our brawler. Chanley, Mr. Why Not Us. Gardner, you're tough as nails. You took that pop against Colin Feeney in practice and you held on to the ball. That was incredible. Pruitt, probably our best fullback. The only kid that can play a B-flat 7 chord on the team, and he also asked me to call him Prue Daddy, which obviously I did. Hayes, Hazerbeam, our distinguished punter. Spats and Hearn, keep those kicking beats that slap, right? Jay Kleinman, and Coach Cord mentioned him earlier. I mean, what can you say about Jay Kleinman? He stepped up. He learned a new position in the games. He was avoiding tackles. I saw there was a waggle set in there. And obviously with our righty quarterbacks, we're waggle setting behind the right guard, but Jake's a lefty. So the entire team learned how to waggle set to the left, which is just a testament to how good you guys were at listening and adapting and improvising on the fly. Edward, right, vast improvement at linebacker. He's always asking questions. He watched a ton of film. He's consistently getting better. Brew Crew is Mr. 9 route. Paulie, I saw that pancake there on that video. That was awesome. Provided a huge boost on both sides of the ball for us. Santos, listen, guy coming out as a senior, playing football for the first time. He came and he brought it every single practice. Incredible speed. I saw that 46 route that he caught there early in that video. I was happy to get him a touchdown later in the season. That was fantastic. Derek Anderson, last year I watched him do 120 push-ups straight, right? And that strength is what really I thought helped him get some sacks and some tackle for losses last year. Chris Rivera was an incredible boost up the middle when he showed up. J-Rob, quietly a shutdown player with tremendous talent. Van, and I saw that diving interception there, number 51. He also would call his own plays on defense, and he would call himself blitzing. And Coach Santiago almost had an embolism screaming at him on the sideline. However, for some reason, your uniform still makes me laugh when I think about it. Jimmy Mack, you're a playmaker, ball hawk, shutdown defender. Dunnican, you were the best middle linebacker we had. Antonio, I think he's still putting his cleats in his bag at the field right now. Pleater, our starting nose tackle. Dever, always late for every away game, but so important that we'd actually never leave the bus without him, right? Harcher, who's on the field at the end of every close game, didn't allow anything over his head. Red, obviously, scored a number of touchdowns, but maybe his best play was the tackle he made week 1 against Wayne Hills. I'm sure you guys remember that. So quickly with the seniors, I also graduated from Ridgewood High School. I played on the football team. Ridgewood High School taught me how to learn, and the football program taught me how to work hard. All right, when you're equipped with those two skills, you'll be able to accomplish anything and be successful at anything you want. All right, you guys graduate as the reigning state champions, having won one of the most memorable high school football games in Ridgewood's history. And you should be proud of that for the rest of your lives. So I'm just going to announce all the sophomores here. So number 1, halfback, cornerback, Tahir Kenyatta. Number 2, quarterback, safety, Ryan Shanley. Number 5, halfback, middle linebacker, Edward Sohn. Number 14, fullback, middle linebacker, Jack Forsch. Number 15, halfback, safety, Red Cossack. Number 19, quarterback, middle linebacker, Jay Whitmack. Number 28, halfback, cornerback, John Gardner. Number 39, halfback, cornerback, Nick Harcher. Number 44, halfback, safety, Owen Staunton. Number 51, guard, middle linebacker, Van Pinault. Number 52, guard, D lineman, Carter Gilgan. Number 53, tackle, D lineman, Chris Nagy. Number 56, guard, outside linebacker, Cole Kineen. Number 64, center, D lineman, Michael Dunnican. Number 72, guard, D lineman, William Pruitt. Number 80, tight end, D end, Carlos Bermudez. Number 81, split end, cornerback, Hayes Williams. Number 84, split end, safety, Jimmy McNamara. Number 87, tight end, outside linebacker, Brian Shanley. Number 88, tight end, outside linebacker, Ryan Hauver. Thanks very much, guys.
So I wasn't kidding when I said the unique perspective of Coach Maxwell. Always good for a laugh. Coach Maxwell has been a tremendous bonus to this program. Not a teacher, a little bit different perspective on everything, and certainly a hard worker and cares for the kids. Thanks, Coach Maxwell. So next up on the program, obviously this doesn't follow our typical timeline here of a banquet. We're trying to keep everybody involved in this virtual setting. So we will, we still have the freshman team to announce, and we will sprinkle in awards as the night goes. So up right now, we have 3 awards to present, and each player has had their trophy delivered to their household. Obviously, I wish I could be the one that gives it to them, but a special member in each player's household will deliver the trophy as I speak. And the first award is the Timothy Blinn Award. Timmy Blinn was a linebacker back in the late 90s. He was the best lineman, lineman. He was the best lineman on the team as a freshman and a sophomore. After his sophomore season, he contracted a serious kidney disease and lost over 30 pounds. He took his junior year off to recover. He came back as a senior after getting himself healthy and returned to his dominant status. After graduating, he went off to college only to come back on Thanksgiving break to tragically pass away from a heart attack. Timmy Blinn's spirit of refusing to give in to injury lives on in this award. I am proud to announce that we have 2 players that refused to give up, even when their seasons most certainly seemed like they were finished. Those players whose trophies are being administered by a special member in their household are Edward, Chanad, and Alfond Oros. Congratulations. Edward, back-to-back years, missed all of training camp, leaving himself behind the team in practice. What I was most impressed about Ed was his desire to not miss a beat. He was front and center each drill and practice to ensure he was mentally ready for when his body was. Thanks for being a model to everyone who is injured in the future, Ed. Congratulations. Quan, like Ed, was injured the last 2 years as well. breaking a scaphoid bone at the end of last season, and then again in this preseason, Alquan's season looked like it was surely over. After multiple opinions from doctor, Alfond decided to put off surgery to the end of the season and cast his throwing hand to play defense and special teams for the Maroons. A selfless act that should serve as a model to the rest of the team. His quarterback days were over, okay, but Alfond wanted to continue. I'm glad to announce his postseason surgery went well, and he's on the road to recovery in time for lacrosse season. Congratulations, Alfond. Next up is the Ferrara Award. Captain of the 1944 Ridgewood football team, he had 5 sons who played here. Most notably, his son, Paul, defensive coordinator at Columbia University. He was involved in the scholarship committee for years, known to do anything to help in the betterment of the team. He took practice and game film for years. This award is given in the spirit of those who are versatile and willing to do anything to help the team. This year, we have 3 winners. This time, a person in the household of Liam Lennon, Shawn Emanuel, and Max Glock. Please present these worthy winners of their awards. Liam Lennon moved not 1, but 2 positions this year to fill needs. A fullback and a will linebacker in 2019. He became a rover and a halfback here in 2020. Again, not to help himself, but rather the team. Shawn Emanuel, one of the only 2 returning starters on the offensive side of the ball. Shawn morphed himself from a player to a leader, a model for the young backs and a helpful hand when they needed it. And finally, Max Glock, in only his 2nd year as a football player, and with many only looking at him as a kicker, he defied the odds to be a force in the middle of the Maroon defense and our starting buck linebacker. Congratulations, guys. And our 3rd award, and our final award of this session, is the Rob Award. The idea for this award started by the class of 1944. Richard Robb was a senior on that team and an outstanding lineman. His class wanted a way to recognize the unsung heroes who were the offensive linemen. Our winner for the 2020 Rob Award is Ryder Langsdale. A standout on the defensive side of the ball last year, Ryder had the tough task of starting as an interior lineman on both sides of the ball this year. His big hits at the linebacker level as we ran trap will be used in camp as an example for what it's supposed to look like for years to come. Congrats, Ryder, on an unbelievable season and career. Next to speak about our season is assistant coach Chris Fabish, our split end, assistant defensive back, and special teams coach. He is a guidance counselor at the high school, and overall great knowledgeable coach, Chris Fabish.
Thanks, Coach Cord. Obviously, I want to thank Coach Cord and the rest of the varsity staff. It was obviously a wild season, and I wouldn't want to go through that with another group of men. It was a great group of guys. So I want to thank the administration, Dr. Gorman, Keith Cook, the freshman staff, and all the parents for your support. We really could not have done so much of these things without you, and obviously the players. I can't thank you guys enough for everything that you did to make this season happen. In a special way, I want to thank all the players who participated on special teams. I'm very thankful to Coach Cord for the opportunity and trust to coordinate the special teams. And it's a unique position to be in because you get to know every kid on the team on a very intimate level. You get to work with kids that are not in your position group all over the field, and and work with a lot of the young guys too. When we're trying to give some seniors who might be going or starters going 2 ways a break, we count on some of the young guys, sophomores and juniors, to step up in key spots. And so, very special thanks to everyone who participated on special teams. I definitely want to thank all my split ends, WRU. They were a very special group of kids that were an absolute pleasure to work with day in and day out. this year in the split end spot, it was a blank slate. We came into the season with two converted quarterbacks as our starters. It was a fun challenge to teach those guys the ins and outs of a position that, a lot of people sometimes think it's just go do this. But there's so much more than what gets put on the chalkboard. I give those guys all the credit to again, change their, we're talking about a lot of guys that changed their position to benefit the team. We had a lot of that at the split end spot. You guys never did earn your ice cream, but we'll find a way to get our last hurrah in before the year is done for sure. And in a very special way, I want to thank all the seniors. It was just an enjoyable time to work with you guys, and you worked your tails off to get where you did. And as a group, just saw you guys improve so much. We were upper class heavy, a lot of seniors and juniors, and you guys did a great job in your roles. And as I said, got better every single day. Talking about the season a little bit, if there's one word I really never want to hear again, it's unprecedented. But that really is what this season was. It was just, there were a lot of twists and turns and bumps in the road that we had to face, and we as a team just did it. We just did it. We just got it done. And it's a testament to the players' desire to make it happen. Just being able to play was a victory. And the kids especially had a lot to do with that, making the sacrifices they did to do all the little things the right way, to be one of the few teams that was able to go 8 straight games without any disruption. So to all the players, great job in being a huge part of why we were able to do what we did. When you talk about adversity and the things that we were up against as young men, this is something that in a time that a lot of adults struggle with. And you guys faced the adversity that's going on in the world, and brought some things back to normal. And that's no easy task. And I want you guys now to think about the future. When I'm talking to you seniors, there's a lot that is out in front of you. And to you underclassmen, when I'm talking to you, obviously we want to include next season in that as well. When you're talking about shifting your vision to the future, you've got to look at things in a couple different perspectives, right? You've got to be fueled by optimism. You've got to be fueled by belief. If we didn't have optimism and belief in what we could accomplish, we never would have gotten to where we were this season. You've got to see things through a telescope sometimes so that you can see the end goal, but you also have to look at things through the microscope and enjoy the grind. You've got to look at things close up and see the details. One of the major predicting factors of success is grit. And grit is a word I think that gets thrown around a little bit, but I'm going to talk about it for a sec. It's the ability to work hard for long periods of time towards a goal. And we showed some grit this season. It keeps you moving. It keeps you moving forward. And in the face of adversity, in the face of obstacles, in the face of failure and rejection, grit continues to move you forward. So we want to continue to move forward through this pandemic, through little things when we talk about the off season for you seniors as you move on to college. Keep that grit with you. Keep working on that ability to work hard for long periods of time towards your goal. Look at things through a telescope so that you can see your goals, but don't forget about the grind. Don't forget to look at things through a microscope and all the details so that you can achieve those goals. Most importantly, and this can be said about football, this can be said about what you guys do in life. You've got to love what you're doing. And I love what I do as a coach, and it's all for you guys. And whatever it is that you seniors move on to do, make sure that you love it and do it with passion. You young guys, I want you guys to love being in the weight room. I want you to love working out and working hard and getting bigger, faster, stronger. Because if you love it, you won't fear it. And that's what's going to make you successful on the field in the future, and in life. So thank you again, everybody, for the opportunity. And I think we have a few captains coming up next.
Hi, my name is Ryder Langsdale, and I'm a captain of the Ridgewood High School varsity football team. I'm an offensive and defensive tackle, and next year I'm playing football at Lafayette College. So, talking about my high school career, as a freshman, I was a backup left tackle until the starter had me quit. And sophomore year, I ended up breaking my collarbone first play, and I was out for the rest of the season. So when I was younger, football was definitely tough for me. But I kept at it, kept going to the gym, kept working hard, and eventually my junior year had a great season, got a lot of D1 looks. My senior year, had another great season, happy to contribute and everything. And we had a great year, great 2 years. Looking back on it, you just gotta keep working hard, keep getting in the gym every day, and just stick with it, because in the end, it's definitely gonna be worth it. Whether it be the bonds you create with other players, or the wins, or just playing football in general, it's all amazing. And the message to the younger players is exactly what I just said: keep working hard, and it'll all be worth in the end.
I'd like to start by thanking everyone who has helped me along my football career. I didn't play youth, so my first time playing football was freshman year. I'd like to thank Coach AJ and Skev for helping me in my first season, especially Coach Driussi, who was my offensive and defensive position coach. You guys taught me the basics of what it meant to be a football player. I would also like to thank Coach Johnson. Your love and passion for the game and your players are what make you such a great coach. Thank you to all the coaches who helped this season, especially Coach Cord. You did not have an easy first year, trying to balance COVID, a baby daughter, and football team. You did everything you could for us among these crazy times, and that does not go unnoticed. Lastly, I'd like to thank my parents, who are my biggest fans and have done everything they can for me. I had an amazing time this season playing with all you guys. Although the season did not go as we expected, it will be one to remember. The greatest thing about football is the lessons that it teaches you. It teaches you the value of hard work, what it means to be part of a team, and how to get back up after getting knocked down. If there's one thing we have learned this year, it's how to get back up. It is very easy to pack it in after going 1-3, start feeling sorry for yourself, and call it a season. But we didn't. We picked ourselves up, got back to work, and never quit. We all will take with us the memories we made. Coach won't like this, but it's really not about the wins and losses. We won't remember the missed blocks, broken tackles, or drop passes. We'll remember each other. That's why I love this sport so much. Every day I get to play the sport I love with the best group of guys I can imagine. I'm going to take the lessons I've learned with me through my whole life. I can without a doubt say football has been the best experience throughout high school. I love all of you guys and can't wait to see what you do next year and years to come. Thanks for a great season.
Hello, Rigid Football family. This is Colin Feeney, number 33. I played left halfback and free safety for the Maroons, and I've been playing rigid football ever since I was in first grade, and I loved every single second of it. Some of the topics I wanted to cover is how rigid football has helped me grow not only as an athlete, but as a man and as a human being. I also wanted to take you through my football journey through Ridgewood and what it was like and my experiences. So to start off, I wanted to speak about my motto and what I came up with before the season even started. I made it a point that if I can't make the people around me better, I can't get better, and it's applicable the same way around. I believe if you don't hit those 2 points, you will create a losing environment, And a losing environment in football, if one thing goes wrong, it is most likely that everything else goes wrong. And I think as a leader and as a captain, the way you play and the way you act and hold yourself is very contagious to the team. And I think I have gotten those qualities from the Ridgewood football players before me. And I also wanted to thank those players for being so acceptant and loving and holding each and every player with open arms. That's something really special that you don't get to experience a lot in life. So to take you through, as a freshman, I didn't play a snap freshman year. I was on JV my sophomore year, and I played special teams my junior year. I didn't get my first varsity snap until the first game of the season, actually. So it's just a reminder to all the young players in this program is that it's never too late, and just to keep grinding no matter what the circumstances is, and to always keep a positive mindset of what you're doing, and to keep it in your head that one day all your hard work is going to pay off. Thank you.
I said it before, just amazing to hear the perspectives of these captains and these seniors. I heard them touch upon it and Liam touch upon it. I'm not sure if there's a Ridgewood team ever that has been 1-3 and they're staring at the Group 4 state champions coming into town. And all you guys did is look it right in the face and keep on working and went on a tear after that Wayne Valley game. And Liam, you're wrong. It's not just about the wins. Trust me. And I don't think that's just me. And that's every coach here. There's a reason we're doing this long after we're done playing. And it's because we love it. And because we know you will take so much more from this game than just the wins and losses, but just unbelievable perspectives there, guys. Thank you so much for that. This is the first time I'm watching, and it's pretty special to see. But now let's turn our attention to honoring the freshman team, who had another unbelievable, undefeated season, led by Coach Cerisi, Coach Cavola, and Coach Hurley. I'm really confident there is no better freshman staff in the area to help mold these young men both on and off the field. Up first is a highlight of their season, and then you'll hear from Coach Cerisi.
Hello, everyone. This is Coach Derisi. I want to start out by congratulating the freshman football team on their undefeated season this year. This year's freshman team did an outstanding job overcoming the many challenges that they faced this year. What impressed me most about this team wasn't the 6-0 record, but rather their positive attitudes that they came to with practice every single day and the progress that they made with a shorter preseason and less practice time than ever before. Not only did this group have the obstacle of learning the extensive rule-based wing T offense and 3-4 defense, but they also had to learn and follow all the health-related protocols that were put into place throughout the season, all while acclimating and finding themselves in a brand new high school world that they have to navigate on their own like no one else has. Despite not having bus rides or a locker room to build team camaraderie the traditional way, this group of young men still managed to build a bond and come together as one team, as well as any other team I've ever been a part of. And for that, I'm more impressed than I am with the 26 touchdowns that they scored throughout the year. I want to thank all the freshman players for their commitment to the team and to each other while allowing us to coach you every day. I also selfishly want to thank you for giving me personally a little bit of normalcy in this whole world. The most exciting part of my day through September and October was easily on Brookside from 4 to 5:45, 6 o'clock, where we got to see Unte showing off his textbook release when he's throwing the ball downfield, or when Dr. Dan is taping kids up before they go out to practice. I want to thank, I'd also like to thank Coach Scovola and Coach Hurley for the many hours of hard work that you guys put in. Those two do an outstanding job, not only teaching the game of football, but they also do an outstanding job as serving as role models for all of your sons throughout the year, both on and off the football field. I'd also like to thank the parents for all of the support that you provided throughout the year and for putting together the pasta dinners and all of the other things that you've done for the team. From trusting us with your sons to driving them to practice and games and washing their uniforms every night. I like to think of myself as an optimist. And if I had to find one positive thing with this whole situation, it would probably be that the lack of locker rooms has required the kids to take home their equipment and to clean it more frequently. And the freshman football team has never smelt better after a rainy practice. So to all of you parents at home, I definitely want to thank you for doing that. I'm sure I speak on the behalf of all the coaches and players when I say thank you. If you haven't done it, I want everyone to just, all the freshmen, to just take a moment and turn and give your parents a big hug and a kiss, because it takes a whole lot of courage for them to say goodbye to you every day and drop you off at Brookside and give you over to us for 2 hours to show you how to play football. Next, I'd like to recognize each of the players individually. So this is number 1, halfback and middle linebacker, Unte Tratner. Number 4, halfback and cornerback, Daniel Guess, AKA Dr. Dan. Number 7, quarterback and safety, Jack Schultz. Number 10, fullback and middle linebacker, Bobby Kensler. And for those of you who were counting, those were 17 touchdowns scored by him this year. Number 11, split end and cornerback, Leo Grace. Number 12, split end and cornerback, Shawn Meyer. Number 14, split end and outside linebacker, Victor Souza. Number 16, free safety and running back, Braden Schmiel. Number 18, quarterback and outside linebacker, Charlie Merrick. Number 19, split end and cornerback, Blake Langsdale. Number 20, tight end and middle linebacker, Ryan Phelps. Number 24, halfback and safety, Reed Kineen. Number 26, halfback and safety, Colin Lake. Number 28, halfback and middle linebacker, Augustin Grillo. Number 33, split end and outside linebacker, Sammy DeMarco. Number 44, fullback, outside linebacker, and kicker, Matthew Schwint. Number 50, center and defensive lineman, Michael Dos Santos. Number 55, tight end and outside linebacker, Jack Power. Number 58, tackle and defensive lineman, Jack DeMalo. Number 59, guard and defensive lineman, Brady Kazmarski. Number 62, tackle and defensive lineman, Palmer Joseph. Number 66, guard and outside linebacker, Joseph Ross. Number 70, center and defensive lineman, Max Messinio. Number 72, center and defensive lineman, Ethan Cohen. Number 74, center and defensive lineman, Bennett Derrico. Number 78, tackle, defensive lineman, and a little bit of tight end, Jack Nesland. Number 79, tackle and defensive lineman, Peter McHugh. And number 80, split end and cornerback, Zach Kranz. One of my favorite parts of this is definitely seeing the change in haircuts for the freshmen from before entering high school until about a month or two in. So again, I just want to congratulate all of the freshmen on their undefeated season. I'm excited to watch this group continue to grow and can't wait to watch them contribute on the varsity level Friday nights. So again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Coach Arisi. You know, it's no secret that the success of this program, you know, has been greatly helped by the caliber of coaches that we've been able to have on the freshman level. You know, and Coach Hurley, Coach Cavola, and Coach Arisi are certainly coaches that do an unbelievable job and would do an unbelievable job on a varsity level. And to have that at the freshman program is just such an advantage to this team and this program. And thank you, Mike and Coach Hurley and Coach Cavola for that. And to the freshmen, you know, we sat there. I brought the varsity team over on the sideline on that crisp November morning and welcomed you to the varsity team. And your undefeated season is something to cherish and something to be proud of. But we have had undefeated teams here go on and as juniors and seniors and upperclassmen not have very successful teams. And we've had teams that are mediocre go on to win state championships. So everything you do from now on matters, you know, and that's that I really wanted that November morning to be symbolic, that you are now at the varsity level, and everything gets a little bit harder and a little bit more difficult. But I promise you, if you take some of the lessons that you learned in the freshman program and you keep that camaraderie that you have built, you guys are going to have a very, very bright future. And I can't wait to see what you bring to the varsity level. So congratulations again to the freshman team. Up next is we have some live award presentations. First up to present is the Cossack Award. It will be presented by Mark Cossack, followed by the James Grasso Award, presented by Laura Grasso. Up first, Mark Cossack.
Thank you, Coach. Hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the evening. It will be impossible to top Coach Maxwell's speech, so I won't try. Uncle Phil and I were debating whether we should pull out the guitar, but we decided that's a bad idea. Yeah. Before I present the special award tonight, I do want to say I'd be remiss if I didn't quickly say thank you to each and every one of you as part of this bigger, larger group we have, which is the Ridgewood football family. I think you're aware, or most of you are aware, that my family and I had a fire at the end, just days before Thanksgiving, which is going to put us out of our home for over a year. And while obviously, it's not going to be the most comfortable situation for the next year, we draw a tremendous amount of strength from the people around us, largely you guys, this community. And your thoughtful gestures and your kind words and your meals and all the things that you've done for us and our family, we are forever grateful. So thank you. But that's not the only reason I get to unmute my mic tonight. I do get to present an award, which is a lot of fun. It's the Robert M. Cossack Award. Uncle Phil, we're not ready for Laura just yet, but we will get to her in a second. So the Robert M. Cossack Award is a student athlete award presented to the senior football player with the highest grade point average on the team. Full disclosure to the boys, when I was a player back in 1993, I was not eligible for these types of awards. So how did we get here? I can tell you that achieving something over a long period of time, whether it's improving your grade point average over 4 years or running the best Group 5 public school football program in the state of New Jersey, is more than just aptitude. It's commitment. And what I personally couldn't do in aptitude, I made up with a lot of commitment and a lot of heart and a lot of courage to go with your gut. And that's the story of my father. He was the first in his family to go to college on a baseball scholarship to Georgia Tech. He rose through the business world and against all odds became a very successful CEO, banker. And, it was really just the beginning. And we all knew there was so much more to his story. But sadly, he died tragically of a heart attack at the age of 53. I was 18. Education lifted him out of poverty and helped him to achieve great things. But it's not just about being the smartest in the room. You need that hunger in your belly. And that's what this award is all about. Yes, of course, you have to have some aptitude to have that grade point average, but moving the needle, that grade point average over a 4-year period, is all about grinding. And it's no different than what the kids are doing in practice every single day to get better. So I'm going to say a few words about our winner, this year's winner. This young man is a super talented football player. He's a linebacker and split end. And the crazy thing is that you will not know this. You won't have seen him in the last 2 years because he's been sidelined with injury to his shoulder. But he's been, committed to the team. He shows up at the practices. He goes to the games. He's even earned the title of hype. He's the hype guy, or one of the hype guys that gets the team going, which is great. Coach will tell you a story about him, I think in Paramus, where he actually got a penalty, which is pretty spectacular. But outside of that, he's remarkably committed to the books. Coach Cord gave me his GPA, and I'm going to read this because it seems a little bit insane to me. I've never heard of a GPA like this. 3.8933. We could have just rounded and said 3.9. But he's applied early decision to Bucknell, and I believe he's been accepted. So it's a real honor to introduce this year's award to Colin Barnes. Congratulations, Colin.
Let's go!
Wow, somebody unmuted. That's amazing. So now that Colin's got his award, it's my honor to introduce a very dear friend of mine, Laura Grasso, and the Jim Grasso Award. I actually had the pleasure and honor of playing with Jim. He helped guide us to the 1991 championship. He just let us beat each other to hell at practice when Stevens was a mud pit instead of a beautiful turf field. And so I have many fond memories of Jim, and Laura does a remarkable job on our scholarship committee. And it's just an honor to present her and welcome her to the next award. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. I'm honored to be here tonight to present the James Topper Grasso Award. This award is in memory of my late husband, who lost his short battle to pancreatic cancer in 2018. Jim dedicated his life to four things: his family, his friends, the field of education, and athletics. Jim started his teaching career in Richmond.
That's not. That's okay.
I think, Mark, you have to mute. Yeah. Jim started his teaching career in Ridgewood in 1987. He was a 7th grade social studies teacher at BF, and during the 16 years in Ridgewood, he also coached football, basketball, and track and field. Jim left Ridgewood to pursue his career as an athletic director in 2001. During his 17 years as an athletic director, he dedicated much of his time to serving NJSIAA at the state level. He served and chaired the Football Rules and Regulations Committee for several years and multiple other committees. Jim was the first president of the Big North and was instrumental in the reorganization, creation, and scheduling of the current Super Football Conference our sons are fortunate enough to play in. For those who knew Jim, football was his passion. And our family is so thankful that he was able to get back onto the field coaching during Joe's 8 years with flag football and the junior football program. It brought Jim great joy to be on the sidelines coaching, breaking down film on the weekends, and watching the players learn, find success, and develop a passion for the game he very much loved. The two recipients of the James Topper Grasso Award may have had a different career path, but their passion, dedication to the sport of football, to the RJFA program, and to the high school program, and all the players is exactly the same. This year, this award, which is a service award, is being given to two individuals who spent many years volunteering their time, not only coaching junior football, but taking leadership roles for the entire program. Their desire to give back to the community through RJFA is greatly appreciated by all the coaches, parents, and players who reap the benefits of their time and effort. In addition, they continue to do the same work to support the Ridgewood High School football program through the scholarship committee. This year's first recipient is presented to Mr. Ed Simpson. Ed coached for 10 years in the RJFA program from 2004 to 2014, and he served as the director for 8 of those 10. In addition to his time with RJFA, he was also a major contributor on the RHS Football Scholarship Committee. He served on the committee for a total of 6 years, 4 of which he was the secretary and 1 as the chairperson. Ed was instrumental in bringing back to life the scholarship committee golf outing. His efforts led to a partnership with the junior football program outing. It is because of his initial and ongoing efforts during his time with the scholarship committee, the golf outing continues to be a great fundraising and fun event for the high school program. Thank you, Ed.
Thanks a lot, Lauren. Just want to say thanks and hello. I see many good friends and people that I've become very close with over the years as a result of this program. And for many of you, the players, I'm sure you know my sons, Jack and Luke, and so they all send their best regards. And thank you. It's been the whole thing has been a labor of love. Everything I've done has been a pleasure and a joy. And I already miss those days going out on the fields with the kids and with all you and being part of the program. So thanks so much. I should be thanking all of you for everything you've done for me. So many great things. I think we're very lucky in this town. We're lucky to have a great program, great coaches and great people running it. And, just wanted to thank all of you and thank you for all you've done for me as well and my family. So looking forward to seeing you all when this thing is behind us, and getting it back out there at the high school and go Maroons. So thanks again and best to all.
Congratulations, Ed. This year's second recipient of the James Topper Grasso Award is presented to Mr. Dave Tarleton. Dave coached for 18 years in the Ridgewood Junior football program. The length of his time volunteering in the program is a tremendous accomplishment and speaks to his character. Dave coached all three of his sons and their many teammates and friends to multiple victories and championships. During his time with the RJFA, Dave also served as the registrar for 12 years and served on many committees within the program. Dave was always someone we could see at the field organizing, planning, and supporting the other teams and coaches. Following his years with RJFA, he became actively involved with the Ridgewood High School Football Scholarship Committee as well, and served as a chairperson for the 2019 season. Dave's dedication and commitment to all the programs is a testament to him, and we are all thankful and appreciative of his efforts over the last 22 years. Thank you, Dave.
Sure. Thank you so much, Laura. I just want to know I'm truly honored and humbled to receive this Jim Grasso Award. I want to let you know that it was my pleasure to serve all the Ridgewood High School football families and the Ridgewood football community for all those years. So thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Laura. That's it, short and sweet. You guys have been watching this long enough.
I thought you were going to do the Ridgewood Shuffle.
All right, I guess I'll take over from here. And congratulations to Dave and Ed, and thank you. And just a side note, Mark, on that GPA, it was that close between a couple of other players. Obviously education here in Ridgewood is at an unbelievable high level, and it really was that close. So congratulations to Colin on winning that as well. Next up is a short highlight of our varsity season, followed by two more varsity coaches to speak. First up after the video will be Coach Mickey Santiago. I don't think he's unfamiliar to anybody in town. His positivity is absolutely contagious. On a normal year, he would be in the weight room, volunteering his time. A wealth of knowledge, also a big part of the junior football program. Ridgewood football just doesn't run the same without Coach Mickey. And followed by Coach Mickey will be Coach A-Day. A-Day was our offensive line coach and our offensive coordinator. Certainly, somebody I leaned on and relied on a ton over the ups and downs of, the last year and a half being in charge of this program. His rapport with players in the community is absolutely unparalleled. I think that the players hold him in the highest regard. But without further ado, we have our highlight video up first.
Fucking loud noise going. That's be high going down, right? Fucking down. Fucking go, 3. 1, 2, 3.
So that was just a little snippet of our I'm sorry. Actually, Coach Santiago, you are up. I apologize.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Oh, hope so. That was short, Phil. I thought it was going to be a longer one. But first and foremost, I want to thank Ridgewood High School, especially Coach Cord, for allowing me to be part of the staff. And also, I try to save, not give a talk as much because it just reminds me how much I miss you guys during the off season. And I miss you guys so much that every Tuesday and Thursday, I run some kids in the field, do some speed agility, looking forward for the next season. So if you guys are free, I'll be in the field Tuesday, Thursday in the high school. Just wear a mask. Now, other than that, I just want to thank everybody for supporting me and my family, and for all the previous dads and coaches who've been part of this program, Dave, Coach Simpson, and Coach Jamie. We've been together all those years in junior football. And I try to share to the kids who are coming up that Ridgewood football is about the family, right? We're this big Ridgewood football family that's been running all those almost since Coach Johnson started the program. And it's an honor and privilege. It's a pleasure to be part of this family. And for those freshmen going to be a sophomore, for those seniors who are graduating, I still remember the junior football days, right? That senior class against Wyckoff, how we pulled that off, right? And the junior class, we won a Super Bowl with Coach Grasso, right? And then the sophomore class, who you guys have been my kids all these years. And then the freshman class, me and Uncle Phil been watching your films, taping them, making those highlight films at the end of the year. It's been a pleasure. And the best part about this is I get to share my passion of football with my brother, with my son, my kids. And me and Uncle Phil have been your number one fan. And we capture all those videos, and then Phil does his magic, and we hear Coach's speech, and we put some music in the back, and then it becomes immortalized in our head because it's better than NFL films, right? Because of Uncle Phil's work. And it's a pleasure to be part of this family. And Coach Cord, thank you again for allowing me to be part of your team. Coach Maxwell, we're married together. You're my partner in life, baby. Coach Fabish, I learned a lot from you. And let me pass to my favorite coach, Coach Ade, who's been patient. The best thing about Coach Ade is it's easy to coach or teach somebody who are great, but when they're the special kids who are the challenging kids, but you find ways to make them do great things, that's a miracle worker. And Coach Ade has been a number one miracle worker, and I'm proud to be part of his staff and to work for him. And if he needs anything, I'm always available. All right, Doug, it's your turn.
All right, I appreciate that, Mick. You trying to get me the tears flow spot on bingo, but it ain't happening, Mick. It ain't happening. No, I appreciate that. It was an interesting year, to say the least, and I think a lot of these guys, kind of hit the nail on the head. And I apologize for not dressing up. I kind of felt bad about it until I looked on the screen and I saw Coach Scavola, what he's wearing. So now I feel really good about myself. So thank you for that, Coach Scavola. You look like you crawled out from under a bridge. I appreciate that. I want to start with Uncle Phil. You find me a better video maker than Uncle Phil, and I'll be shocked. I mean, he does a great job. He does it for free. You give the guy a Ridgewood jacket, and he's yours for life, and he's the best. So thank you for that, Uncle Phil. An awesome job. Thank you to Coach Cook, who had to take off. They have some hockey games tonight. To get 8 games in is that's pretty amazing. So that's a big credit to him, and we thank you for one, give us that opportunity, and two, trusting guys to take over a very well-known, very well built program, and being able to put our own twist on it. So I appreciate that as well. And going along with that, thank you to the coaches, Coach Fab, Mick, Maxwell, Coach Torrey, and I, who laughed our ass off the entire year. We had a ton of fun. Coach Straub, Coach Brew, Coach DeRisi for being pulling double duty, being my right-hand man up top. The offense doesn't run without Coach DeRisi helping out and going to freshman practices and then coming to all the offensive meetings. So it's much appreciated. And also Coach Cord for trusting us to do that. That's a lot of trust. I think somebody said it earlier. I think it was Mr. Cossack said it earlier about find me a coach in the area who had to do more, who had to do more and had, big shoes to fill, and a guy who came out, spotless on the other side. I think that's a big credit to him, and that's a big credit to the players allowing him to do that. But it is no easy task. People expect to win. People expect things to happen. Our schedule was flipped. We had probably one of the toughest schedules Ridgewood had since they played the private schools. And he found a way. And I think a big part of that was he trusted the coaches to get the job done. And I think that's a big part of it. I had a blast with it, hanging out with the coaches, going out, after the games on Friday nights after a win. There's not a better feeling in the world after a win, So it was a lot of fun. Also to the scholarship committee, you can tell by the way the banquets ran tonight. It's flawless. So wow, impressive. Thank you for that. I'm sure the kids love that. You're always willing to do whatever it needs for the kids to get what they need. The charter buses to West Morris. You guys do a remarkable job. And lastly, before I get into the players, also the youth league. I think it's very understated how important the coaches are at the youth league. I used to coach for a guy in Kansas City, Missouri, who was also the AD, and he was the head wrestling coach. He'd been there for 30 years. He had won so many state titles, he stopped buying rings. That's how many state titles they won. And he always said the secret was the youth league. He said, if I work hard with the youth and they put in the same time, by the time they get to high school, they just run themselves. And that's, we're lucky to have that at Ridgewood High School, to credit to, Mr. Tarleton and Mick and all the guys that work with the kids when they're younger. When they come into high school, everybody knows 21 sweep. And what a leg up that is for us. So thank you for that. Again, it's much appreciated. And thank you for that. For the players, it was a lot of fun. It was quite the year. Everything, there was an obstacle at every turn, like all the guys have talked about. I thought the senior leadership really brought us through. I thought they did a remarkable job on that. Our offensively, we led the conference in scoring with all new players. Cam Smith was the only one with experience coming back. Ryder had experience on one side of the ball, and those guys kind of took everybody, by the collar and put them in line. And that's a credit to those guys' leadership, their ability to adapt, and their ability to get everybody where they need to be. So I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the offense, Coach Cord gave us the ability to put our own spin on things. One of the best games I've ever been a part of was at MetLife the year before, where we kind of put a twist on Coach Johnson's, wing tee and kind of were able to do some things that were a lot of fun. So listen, it was a trying year with the linemen. We had a lot of sophomores starting. At one point, we had 4 sophomores on the field, which is no easy task. If you see the pictures from the highlight, look at how much we're oversized or outsized by our opponents, and they found a way. So I really credit those guys. To the seniors, to Boda, Cam, Langsdale, Vac, what a great job these guys did. They didn't fold up shop when things didn't go our way early. They kept fighting, they kept working. And that's what leadership's all about. So, it was a lot of fun with those guys as well. And to the younger guys, to Yates, to Nagy, to Kaneen, to Carter, to Dunnigan, to Legos, Mr. Fletcher, Legos himself. What a great job by those guys stepping in. It's not easy for a sophomore to play Group 5 football. And they figured it out. They listened, they learned, they work hard. And I tell you right now, we told the guys at the end of the year, nobody wanted to play us in Group 5 if there were playoffs. I challenge any team to play us after 8 games in the playoffs in Group 5. Good luck. And I feel that way in the future. I feel like these guys are set up nicely. I feel like they're going to do the things they need to do. And when the playoffs come back around, the Maroons are going to wreak some havoc. So I'm excited to see that. Also special thank you to the seniors in the backfield, to Shawn Emanuel, Riggs, Lennon, Feeney. Everybody probably knows I've been a big Feeney fan ever since he crossed paths with me freshman baseball 4 years ago. I don't know where we'd be without him. I really don't. What a year for a guy that played JV and special teams till his junior year. He came out and first team all county. It's remarkable. And he's probably 15 pounds heavier, probably 3 inches taller. And that's because he put the work in the weight room to gain that weight. What a phenomenal year. Him, Shawn, Riggs, Tahir filling in, as a sophomore, no easy task. And without all the summers to put that offense together, as Coach Johnson will tell you, it's a very time-specific offense that needs the practice and needs the work. So for them to figure out in short time, what a credit to those guys. For you linemen that graduated, welcome to the club. You're now members of the post-grad lineman club. We try to get together for dinner 4 or 5 times a year, talk about the old days. You can crack a joke or two because you're no longer a student, maybe 1, not 2, maybe 1. I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Had a lot of fun with the lineman lunch this year. It was awesome. And special thanks to Mr. Contrucci. We would be lost without him. We needed somebody to hold down the middle, give the young guys time to get bigger and stronger. And he got better every game. So, and he's like the nicest kid ever. Just a fun Contrucci story. He came up to me one day. I was trying to push him a little and see where he would end up, see if he could get a little more out of him. And he said, I don't want to be second team. And I said, too bad, you're second team. And he walked away. And I said, no, come back. Like, show me how bad you want it. And he's that type of kid because he's a good kid. He's a good kid. He wants to be coach. He wants to be better. And he took that and ran with it. And, credit to him. It was a lot of fun to see. There's nothing better as a coach, like Coach Cord always says, we're away from our family because we love doing it. And you are the family. Although Coach Cord talks about 1 kid, I have 2. I feel like I should be able to complain more about time away. I consider you guys family. It's nobody's going to talk bad about you except for us. That's kind of like your parents. So it's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. I already miss it. I miss being around you guys. I haven't seen Tahir in ages. I don't know if I can make it without seeing Tahir much more. Got to see him. Congratulations on a great year, pulling through, figuring it out together. I don't worry about you guys in the future because I see you every day and I see what you're capable of and the type of people you are and the high character you are. So congratulations to you. I don't need any more jokes, Kleinman, about the background. This is my life. This is what I do. Although that house, I told Mickey, if you see the house in the background, that's actually mine. I let my daughter play with it sometimes. Nice job, fellas. Great job. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the future. I expect a lot of state championships in the trophy room. So go get them. All right, let's get to the juniors. Let's announce the juniors. Number 4, Angry Joe Grasso. Great year by Grass. Looking forward to big things in the future. Number 6, Andrew Joya. Another one's going to have a bright future. He had a great year. Always a smile on his face. A little too much, but nice job on the year, Andrew. Good luck in the future. Number 10, halfback cornerback, Ryan Guess. Ryan's going to get some opportunities next year, and I'm excited to see where it takes him. Number 11, split in, quarterback, safety, cornerback, running back, you name it, he does it. He'll do whatever you ask of him. Will Nevin. Number 16, quarterback, Thunder Dan Caiafa. We had a lot of fun this year. I'm looking forward to seeing his growth. Ton of potential, and he had a great year. Number 22, halfback cornerback, Antonio Oliveira, also the winner of the most recent Maroon Award at Ridgewood High School for his it's basically for just being awesome. Just being awesome. Nice job, Antonio. Number 23, split in cornerback, Luke Brewer. Always the last one at practice, always the one to lend a helping hand. Nice job, Luke. There he is, number 24, split in cornerback, Jake, I'll do anything that you need to win a football game, Kleinman. Nice job, Jake. Good luck with everything in the future. Number 26, split end / tight end, outside linebacker Palmer Yates. He was a big help with us, helping give Cam some breathers. Big things in the future for Mr. Palmer. Number 27, split end safety Jason Roberts. Jason, much like his brother, has a ton of potential. I fully expect him to achieve that like his brother did. He's got a lot of ability in there, big things in the future. Number 29, halfback safety Cole Dawkins. Cole's going to get a big opportunity this year to carry the team in the backfield, and he's ready. It's his time. Number 34, fullback middle linebacker Connor Dever. Same thing with Connor. He's going to get some great opportunities. Had a big time on the JV season. Good luck in the future. Number 36, running back middle linebacker James Spats Spataro. Same thing with Spataro. He's going to get some opportunities in the backfield, and looking forward to see what he can do. Number 42, halfback outside linebacker Will Anderson. Stepped up huge for us. Huge. I mean, what a great year by Will. Big things in the future as well. Number 47, tight end middle linebacker Josh Pleater. Pleater's another one of those guys. What do you need me to do, coach? How can I do it? Going to need him next year. 54, guard D lineman Joe Hernandez, probably practice player of the year. He gave us great looks, made the starting offensive line extremely frustrated. I appreciate everything you did, Joe. Number 55, guard outside linebacker Paul Lee. Paul Lee gave us great looks. He gave us great depth on the O-line. Next year will be his chance to get in there on the starting lineup and do some good things. Number 57, outside linebacker Derek Anderson, another practice player of the year. Gave us great looks, wants to be on the field, is going to get his chance to be on the field, and he's tenacious. Number 58, tackle D-line Greg Lawson. His season kind of got cut short because of the broken ankle, but he's a cornerstone of the success for next year. So looking for big things from Greg. Number 63, tackle and defensive tackle Ian Darby with better facial hair than I have. Darby's the epitome of a teammate, the epitome of what a coach wants to see on the field. Good luck in the future, Darbs. Number 70, guard defensive line, Connor O'Hara. Connor's going to get a chance as well. Connor gave us great depth. He got some good some experience on the varsity, offense and defense, and he'll get his opportunities next year. Number 74, center D-line, Chris Rivera. Chris was awesome with us as well. He helped out a lot on the JV, gave them good opportunities, opened up many holes. Thank you for everything you did, Chris. Oh, there he is. Number 75, tackle D-line, Gary Legos Fletcher. What a great year. I don't think Coach Watson could have got much more out of Fletcher. He gave every ounce of ability that he could possibly give. Looking forward to seeing him next year where he can dominate. Great job, Fletcher.
Thank you, Coach A-Day. Always a great perspective and good for a couple of laughs from Coach A-Day. But he really brought up a great point talking about the junior football program. You know, the saying is it takes a village to raise a child, and certainly takes a village in the Ridgewood Village to make a Ridgewood High School football player. An absolutely huge part of the success here, and that should not go unnoticed. So thanks, Coach A-Day. Thanks to our juniors. You know, senior season is special, and you have a lot to look forward to. But finally, to the last portion of our night, which is really what this night is all about, which is our 19 seniors. It's going to take some time. I'm going to give each senior their due, but I really hope you listen, you pay attention, and I think there's a lesson to be learned in all of their 19 unique stories. Up first is number 3, Edward Shannad, safety and halfback. As seen by the Blinn Award, Ed has some of this program's toughest luck. Hampered by a hip injury in 2019, he was prevented from taking a ton of snaps. However, despite the limited playing times, Ed's tremendous leadership qualities were not lost on his teammates. Voted as a captain in 2020, Ed showed up ready to hit the ground running. There's not a single player who changed his body and came into the season in better shape than Ed. All that hard work nearly came to an end when a freak injury occurred in August on Vets Field. Thankfully, the diagnosis was favorable, and Ed would only be out for several weeks if everything went well. Although happy for the good news, Ed found himself in a familiar situation, injured and missing practice time. Despite not being able to play, Ed didn't miss a practice other than doctor visits, often standing right by our drill and asking questions in an attempt to be up to speed as possible. When Ed did get on the field, he proved just what he was able to do. Facing a unique offense against Wayne Valley allowed an opportunity to get both Ed and his counterpart Liam on the field at the same time. That game, he recorded 7 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss and was an absolute force on the edge. I wish like hell, Ed, the last 2 years were injury-free and you got to play every snap. But your mental toughness is a lesson that can be learned by everyone in this program and something you can carry with you in your future endeavors. Good luck, Ed. Thanks for all your hard work. Up next, Mike Wriglioso, number 7, cornerback, split end. Mike got off to a slow start this year. After turning heads in the first week of camp, he tweaked his groin, which nagged him for the next several weeks. Mike was famous for telling me he was 1 or 2% better each day. Every time I would walk in, how you feeling, Riggs? Coach, I'm 68.2% today. Think I should practice? Not yet, Mike. But when he got back into the lineup after our 2-week hiatus, boy, did he take off. In a corner position that was completely up for grabs, Mike took a stranglehold and never let go. I knew Mike was athletic, but what impressed me most was his knowledge for the game. He embraced every coverage, check, and changeup we made throughout the year. Not only was his football IQ impressive, but he proved to be one of the most physical players on our team, most notably on a goal line stop week 1 versus Hills. I still hear that. On the offensive side of the ball, his ball skills are rare to find. The Wayne Valley game was just a confirmation for the coaching staff of what we already knew. Riggs was a fine receiver. We just needed ways to get him the ball. When those finally opened up, Mike put on a highlight reel together with two touchdown receptions, both for 34 yards that week. It was beyond gratifying to sit back and watch you grow as both a player and a person. In another life, in another offense, Mike, your numbers could have been off the charts as a high school receiver. Your skill set is rare. You ended the year with 3 touchdown catches, 30 tackles, and 3 interceptions. Riggs, I wish you nothing but the best. Thanks for giving me, and most importantly, this program, everything you had. It did not go unnoticed. Thank you, Riggs. Your future is bright. Next up, Alfond Oros, number 8, cornerback, okay, and our one-handed receiver at times. I was told a long time ago by a coach that injuries are just part of the game, and you just have to accept it. I don't think anyone mentioned that to Alfond. Early in the preseason, Alfond broke the scaphoid bone in his right hand for the 2nd time, an injury that normally requires surgery and months to heal. The coaching staff unfortunately fielded and prepared for the worst. We thought his senior campaign was over before it even started. But after multiple opinions, Alfond opted to delay surgery, instead throw a cast on his hand and have it wrapped in an attempt to complete his senior season. Alfond's dream was being the starting quarterback. It was obviously lost in this decision, but his desire to play and contribute in any way possible was evident. Alfond's decision was both selfless and brave. As a lacrosse player too, this would limit his rehab time prior to the spring season. Alfond returned after a few weeks off with a club and his signature smile. He immediately became a contributor on special teams and entered the rotation at our crowded cornerback position. A lesson to all to make the best out of every situation that is given to you. Thank you, Alfond, and good luck this spring. Next up, Aiden Flynn, number 9, our punter, halfback, and cornerback. Aiden made a splash at practice almost immediately upon returning to football this year. Aiden is one of the most intelligent and focused players at practice. His attention to detail and knowledge of the defense was impeccable for an inexperienced player. For some, virtual playbook and online meetings this summer made learning our schemes difficult, but Aiden thrived in this atmosphere. This gave him more time to study and allowed him to break down his technique and responsibility step by step and play by play. Aiden earned the starting punter position this year and punted 23 times for 730 yards, an average of 31 yards per punt. But perhaps his two greatest plays came when the snap sailed over his head. In both instances, Aiden had the mental fortitude to scoop up the ball, keep a level head, avoid pressure, and still manage to punt. There's no doubt that Aiden's work ethic, intelligence, and toughness will take him a long way in wherever life takes him. Congratulations, Aiden. Next up, Patrick Mcdermott, number 12, safety and split end. Patrick has been in the program for 4 years. His knowledge of our offense was second to none. Patrick was a quarterback for his first 3 years in the program, but aided by an enormous growth spurt, he changed positions on both the offense and defensive side of the ball. In any year, that is a difficult task. But on a year where the preseason is about 20% of what it normally is, it is an unbelievable effort by Patrick. He earned a big role at the split end position on offense and was really a jack of all trades on defense. Patrick was able to step in at safety or rover whenever we needed, and probably could have played corner too if the need arose. Perhaps Patrick's biggest accomplishment did not come under Friday Night Lights, but rather his selfishness in practice. After losing 2 of our top 3 quarterbacks in the preseason, we were down to just 3 quarterbacks total in the program. While we're rushing to get people up to speed, Patrick, with 0 reps this season, would run his routes at split end, then jog over to the second huddle to take snaps, and somehow our offense didn't miss a beat. He did this all in typical Patrick fashion, without complaining, without making a big deal. Patrick did this not because he wanted to, but because he knew this is what the team needed. There's an old adage that sometimes players just have to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. No complaints, no excuses. Nick Saban and Bill Belichick coined it as do your job. Most athletes hear that statement, but few live it. Patrick lived it. Thank you so much, Patrick, for your dedication and your hard work. Good luck in the future. Up next, Marcos Santos, number 17, cornerback, split end. Marcos was a first-year football player as a senior. This is without doubt the hardest high school sport to play if you have never stepped on the field before. When we finally got on the field in August, Marcus' athleticism immediately impressed the staff. One of the fastest players on the field from the second we started. Marcos played split end and corner and was a special team contributor. He was eager to help with whatever was needed during practice, willing to jump into any position and any scenario. He was a competitor, just wanted to play, even if that meant on Mondays. It was amazing to watch just how much you progressed in a single season. Couldn't imagine the football players you would have surely become with more time in the program and around the sport. Marcos, good luck, and come back and visit in the future. Thank you, Marcos. Up next, RJ Johnson, number 18, cornerback, split end. RJ completed his 4th year with the program this season. Playing cornerback and receiver, he was often the smallest on the field, but without doubt, one of the toughest. Given the role as a jet on our kickoff team, his job was to move down the field at full speed and be the first to the ball. Only the fearless get the honor of being the jet, and that honor was given to RJ Colin Feeney for the 2020 Maroons. RJ wasn't just a special teams player. He also made significant contributions as split end and cornerback. I've spent the last 3 years getting to know RJ as his position coach, and I can say without a doubt, he will sorely be missed. One of the most genuine players I've ever had the pleasure of coaching, willing to offer a smile and a joke at any time. RJ, you will be sorely missed. Please don't be a stranger in the future. I'm wishing you nothing but luck. Thank you, RJ. Up next, Max Glock, number 20. Our kicker, our fullback, and our buck linebacker. Max didn't have the typical Ridgewood High School football career. We have long been a program team where it often took 4 years of playing to make a meaningful contribution. Boy, did Max break that mold. Max was buried on the depth chart for a bit, with some very talented sophomores moving ahead of him in August and September. But Max never got discouraged. He was certainly frustrated with his play and situation, but all Max cared about was getting better. He studied every clip he had on Huddle from our early practices, and with a bit of luck and a ton of hard work, Max found himself on the field late in the game, week 2 against Northern Highlands. And he earned that starting buck linebacker position week 3 against Hackensack, which he never relented. Despite only making 6 starts, Max finished 5th on the team in tackles with 51. He did this all while Coach Schraub was famously said, playing in his slippers, which were his kicking shoes. It was rewarding to see Max's play and confidence grow as the season progressed. He earned the respect not only of his coaches, but his teammates on the field. He was truly a senior leader and another coach out there. Proud to announce that Max is continuing his football career and will be kicking at Union College this fall. Can't wait to watch your career, Max. Congratulations on a phenomenal season. Up next, Liam Lennon, number 21. This year, our rover and a halfback. Last year, a fullback and a will, and our captain. Unfortunately for Liam, he played rover and halfback, which meant he never left my side. He was a two-way starter, and as a result, he got yelled at probably more than anyone. Playing rover or strong safety in our defense is tough to say the least. You play linebacker at times and asked to make tackles at the line of scrimmage. You play safety away from the ball, asked to make plays in the passing game, and you're the quarterback of our defense, making every call. Every string call and check is in Liam's hands. And as a result, they get my wrath more than anyone. I mean, hell, I even remember yelling at Liam in the East Side game. I think because it was so quiet and less fans there, I think I got a rise out of the stand. But in reality, Liam, you are amazing. And I only yelled because I cared, because I knew how good you were and because I knew you could handle it. You were everything a coach could ask for. You were always prepared. In fact, I had to stop you from asking 900 what-if questions you would rack up every Monday. It broke my heart to see your career end at home. And in typical Liam fashion, you took it in stride and delivered a great speech via Zoom. Liam averaged 4.6 yards per carry and had 32 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, and 3 interceptions. Congratulations on a great season. Our captain, Liam Lennon. Up next, number 25, safety, split end, Jathan Arango. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jathan throughout his high school football career. He was always in my position groups as a free safety. Jathan is a smart, tough little football player. Never the biggest, never the strongest, but had a great grasp of what is asked of free safeties in our scheme. Practicing with limited repetitions, Jathan never seemed to skip a beat. Working with a limited roster late in the year, Jathan was called upon to get ready for West Morris. He entered into practice like he was there the entire time, calm and collected as the game plan was installed. Amazing to witness Jathan's progression. If that same situation arose last year, I'm not sure you would have handled it with such poise and grace. Jathan, it was an absolute pleasure to be around you the last few years. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Wishing you nothing but luck in the future. Please come back and visit anytime. Jathan Narango. All right, we're going to take a little break from me. We just heard about 10 outstanding seniors. We're going to watch a little breakdown of our first 4 games, another highlight by Uncle Phil. We're going to come back. We got 9 more seniors to celebrate, give out 2 more awards, and we will wrap this night up. Take it away. Again, it's some awesome clips there from Uncle Phil. You saw Aiden Flynn's what I talked about before, his little move around Hackensack to get the punt off, which is awesome. We just talked about it. All right, back to our final 9 seniors here, and couple more great stories and great kids to hear about. Up first is number 32, Colin Barnes. That term injury was thrown around a lot today, but I don't think anybody's had any worse luck than Colin. Missing 2 straight seasons to a shoulder injury. Once a budding star at both split end and outside linebacker, Colin's career was cut short. Despite not strapping it up once in 2019 or 2020 campaign, Colin was a staple at practice and was as invested in our team as anyone else. Even after receiving the news that his season ended before our August camp even started, he still made the decision to attend. His passion for football came for the football team came to a breaking point at Paramus when he received a 15-yard personal foul penalty despite not even being in uniform. Although I yelled at him at the time, and that has to be the first penalty from a Ridgewood football player not in uniform. I appreciate the passion and the desire to protect your teammates. Your obvious intelligence, dedication, drive, and team-minded approach will take you very far in life, Colin. I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future. Please come back. You are a great friend to the program. Colin Barnes. Up next, number 33, halfback, safety, Colin Feeney. I was quoted as saying Feeney was one of the most intense, focused players I have ever coached, and I meant it. During the 2019 campaign, Feeney was a backup to John Carney, who's now playing safety at William and Mary. On almost any other Ridgewood team in history, Colin probably would have earned a starting spot as a junior. But playing behind John did not deter him one bit. His focus in practice did not lapse for a second. By mid-2019, he had complete control of the defense. There was not one call, one set, one route combo that Colin did not have complete comfortability with. As a staff, we already knew that we had a special safety development. What we were unaware of is that we also had one of the most electric running backs in the state waiting in the wings. Colin, simply put, was a two-way stud and a big play machine. Some of his statistics are just eye-popping. Colin rushed 74 times for 638 yards, averaging 8.5 yards a carry. He added 9 catches for 257 yards, averaging 32.1 yards per catch, and adding 3 touchdowns. Colin's rise to success should serve as a lesson for all the younger players in this program. As a junior, he was a special teams player. As a senior, he's one of the best football players in the state. He could have wasted his junior year buried behind some future college football players, but he did just the opposite. He worked every day as if it was the one playing Friday night. And those precious few plays he did get on, could have wasted his junior year buried behind some future college football players, but he did just the opposite. He worked every day as if it was Friday night. Those precious few plays he did get in on special teams, he made every second count. He was a weapon on that kickoff team. He then, instead of taking it easy during quarantine last March, April, May, he worked his ass off to get bigger, stronger, faster. He worked his way to be one of the fastest players I've ever seen. Colin, your leadership and most importantly, your model for work ethic will be severely missed here. Colin will be continuing his baseball and, if he wanted, football career at Ithaca College. Congratulations on your career, Colin. Great job. Up next, Shawn Emanuel, number 35, fullback, middle linebacker. Shawn was one of just 2 players to take snaps on the offensive side of the ball in 2019. Like 2019, Shawn started 2020 with an injury during the preseason. Shawn, however, seemed to thrive under pressure. His mental makeup is built for it. In 2019, he had a freak injury. He impaled himself, catching a football over by Project Adventure, and found himself on the sidelines. When he came back, he found himself a little bit further down on the depth chart than he would have liked. All Shawn did is respond by having a game for the ages at MetLife. 2020 was no different for Shawn. He started week 1 by rolling his ankle, came back after our 0-2 start, had a rough game in Northern Highlands. Okay. And then against Hackensack, Shawn averaged an eye-opening 11 yards per carry and rushed for 88 yards on just 8 carries and a touchdown. From there, Shawn's season took off. Against Oltapan, when our offense was sputtering, Shawn was a bright spot, scoring our lone touchdown and rushing for 88 yards again. In just 7 games played this season, Shawn amassed 423 yards on just 64 attempts, averaging 6.5 yards a carry. He was our scoring leader and amongst the scoring leaders in the county, finding the end zone 9 times in just 7 games. Shawn is undecided on his destination for college, but will certainly have the opportunity to continue his playing career if he wishes. Shawn, has been a great ride. Thank you for the memories, and I wish you nothing but the luck in your future. Thank you, Shawn. Up next, Cameron Smith, number 45, Sam linebacker and tight end. It's not often coaches truly feel like they have an extra coach on the field. Cameron was just that. Cameron has had an amazing career at Ridgewood High School, breaking onto the scene as an up-and-coming sophomore and taking an enormous role in the 2019 season following James Miller's injury. The ultimate level-headed player who seemed almost unflappable. He was a calming presence to his teammates on the field and a sounding board for me. This season was unlike anything I or anyone has experienced. Schedules, rules, and practices were constantly changing to keep up, and Cameron became one of my daily calls on my drive home. We would discuss things that work, parts of practice that drag, all in the name of making our limited time on the field as productive as it possibly could be. In my 6 years with the program, there has not been a player who played more snaps per game than Cameron. He was our starting Sam linebacker, our starting tight end, both our long snapper and our short snapper for field goals and punts. He doesn't only look like Superman, but he was our Superman on the field. He could do anything, anywhere. Block, tackle, receive, and snap. Cameron completed the season with 3 catches for 64 yards and had 55 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and an astonishing 4 forced fumbles. Cameron will continue his playing career at Williams College, where I believe he will be a force for their defense immediately. Cameron, you have forever raised the standard for what it means to be a Ridgewood High School football player, and I have full confidence you will continue to do so in all your future endeavors. Thank you, Cameron. Up next, Michael Tabota, number 50, offense and defensive line. Michael is another 4-year program player. Like many high school football players, he paid his dues as a young player, was both a scout team player on offense and defense, and he slowly worked his way up the depth chart. When we talked in the summer, Mike was eager for a shot to get out there on Friday nights and was elated to find himself on top of the initial depth charts. Mike then took a bit of a lesser role on the offensive side of the ball. Instead of cowering to his diminished role, Mike took a big step forward. Noticeable improvement in practice over the next few weeks, Mike again found himself in a large role on Friday nights. However, this time it was on the defensive side of the ball. Throughout our winning streak, Mike saw himself making big plays, most notably against a big, powerful East Side offensive line. Mike stepped in and was a force to be reckoned with, eating up double teams and in on nearly every big play the defense made. Let Michael's path be a lesson for everyone watching. The road is often filled with twists and turns, but hard work almost always pays off in the end. Congratulations, Michael, on all your hard work, and thank you for all your dedication this season. Up next, Matt Olivo, number 66, offense and defensive line. I've had the pleasure of coaching Matt for his 3 years on the varsity football team. He is as committed and hardworking as any player. Matt rode his bike in full equipment to practice every day. Football pants on, shoulder pads and helmet stuffed into a backpack. Often there earlier than most, we would meet on my walk down to practice. He would stop his bike, mask up before greeting me, and ask me how I was doing. Matt has always been one of the funniest kids on the team, good for a witty joke or just simply a smile at any time. Matt never started a football game on Friday night, but his hard work Monday through Thursday earned him the utmost respect from his peers. Matt played every snap on our scout teams and took pride in preparing our teams for games. The respect and admiration for his teammates was glaring during our game against Eastside. When his name was called to go into play, you heard our sideline erupt in Olivo, 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 as they often would do. Our bench shouted and erupted for Matt. Matt, keep breaking barriers, shattering people's expectations, and most importantly, keep being you. It was an absolute pleasure to coach you over the last few years, and good luck in the future. Matt Olivo. Up next, Ryder Langsdale, number 72, offense and defensive tackle. Ryder's varsity football career had an ominous start. After his strongest advocate, Coach A-Day, lobbied to get him on the field as a sophomore in a scrimmage versus mighty Piscataway. On one of the first snaps he was in, Piscataway dropped back to pass. Ryder rushed the quarterback and was slammed to the ground, breaking his collarbone. Sophomore year was over before Ryder could even blink. And as a staff, we were worried about if this would stunt his growth as a raw, player with some obvious talent. Just goes to show you coaches aren't always right, because all Ryder did was earn a starting position as a junior and record 8.5 sacks, which is 4th all time as a Ridgewood High School football player. After Ryder's impressive junior campaign, his eyes were set on much bigger goals. Earning a captainship from his peers, Ryder quickly established himself not only as a defensive leader, but an offensive one as well. Ryder was asked to go both ways and play both offense and defensive tackle at perhaps the hardest position on the field to do so. With limited offseason conditioning, this was an even taller task than it normally would be. About week 3, Ryder really got his footing and acclimated to playing 2 ways. The second half against Old Japan, he made play after play on both sides of the ball and earned the respect of every other coach in this league. He was a unanimous all-freedom red defensive tackle, registering 35 tackles, 3 sacks, and 5 tackles for loss. He will be continuing his playing career at Lafayette College, and we can't wait to follow it. Congratulations, Ryder. Up next, Jack Contrucci, number 76, center, nose tackle. Jack transferred from Don Bosco this summer to rejoin his friends and play for his hometown team. Despite an excellent football program at Don Bosco, anyone coming back to play for this program with no prior experience has an uphill battle to climb. Our offense is extremely unique, and our defense plays a style that not many other teams in the area play. Jack had to start from scratch, even with technique. Many think that if you learn to pass block at Don Bosco, you can use the same stuff at Ridgewood, but it doesn't work that way. Jack had to reinvent himself with the Maroons, and it took some time. He started the season at tackle. We flirted with the idea of being a guard, and he finally found his home as a starting center. Never played center before. Not only with the scheme was new, but so was snapping. Snapping did not come natural to Jack, but that didn't deter him. Working before practice, after practice, and on water break, Jacks could be found snapping with Alfond or Dan at all times. It was a slow start and at times painful progression, but Jack proved his perseverance and mental fortitude to work through the low points. Jack is one of the most genuinely nice young men I've had the pleasure of working with. Jack, thank you for choosing Ridgewood to play this year. You truly made this program better. Jack will be continuing his playing career at Dickinson College this fall, and we can't wait to see what you will accomplish there. Good luck, Jack. And our last but not least senior, Anthony Vaccarello, number 77, nose tackle. Anthony has had a tremendous and productive career at Ridgewood High School. Bursting upon the scene after returning from parochial school, his athleticism, size, and motor were apparent the second he stepped on the field at Stevens. Anchoring the middle of the Maroons defense for the 2019 and 2020 seasons, Anthony was seen all over the field and made sure the crowd knew about it. Anthony had 30 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks on the year. Perhaps the most enjoyable thing to watch about Anthony was not his big plays on Friday, but his growth as a young man. Anthony turned from an extremely talented football in 2019 and a personal flag machine to a young man who became one of our vocal leaders in 2020. I'm truly proud to say that I've coached Anthony, and I can't wait to see it continue to grow. Please stop by and visit anytime. Good luck in the future.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Anthony. Good to see you, buddy. So that is our 19 seniors. Geez, I wish like hell, this could be in person. You deserve that time. And I just hope you 19 seniors understand that this relationship that we built goes long after, tonight. You all have my phone number, and that is good forever. So I hope we keep in touch. I'm sure you guys are going to be my doctors and handle what little money I have one day and go on to much bigger and better things than I have. Just an amazing group of 19 seniors who found a way to persevere in unquestionably the oddest, toughest, weirdest, but rewarding season that the 2020 campaign was. Thank you again to all my seniors. I have 2 more awards to give out, and then I'll say goodbye and hand it over to Jamie. So we have 2 more awards. Up next is the Spivogel Award. Spiegvogel was a player and a coach on staff. Coach Johnson's predecessor, Jim Reamer, gave a speech about Spiegvogel when he was a player. He was a player willing to do anything to help the team win. He would go out each Sunday and buy a practice jersey of the color of the opponent they were playing that Saturday. If they were playing Paramus, he would wear blue, Eastside orange, and so on and so forth. He went way above and beyond and did whatever it took. And I'm proud to announce this year's winner is Cameron Smith. As I said before, he was the most experienced player on the team and intelligent and level-headed to boot. We spoke more times than I can count, and there's no one on this team who put more thought into practice and helping it become better each and every day. Thank you so much, Cameron. Your body of work here at Ridgewood is unprecedented. Good luck and congratulations on this wonderful award. I hope somebody special presented it to you. Last but not least is our MVP, our most valuable player award. It is not easy to pick a most valuable player when 11 play at a time, but there was one who stood above the rest. Not because he scored touchdowns or made big plays, but because he played every play like it was his last. Down 20, up 20, we got the same effort. Near the ball, away from the ball, the exact same effort. And without this team would not have nearly been the same. I'm proud to announce the 2020 Ridgewood MVP is Colin Feeney. Colin, this is well earned and earned in every sense of the word. Thank you for all you have modeled here this year. Thank you so much for a wonderful career, Colin. With that, my evening is complete. Once again, I would like to thank this entire community, my staff, and I missed a few people that I just got to miss. I got to speak about Coach Aaron Brew. He coaches another sport at Indian Hills. He could not be here tonight. Obviously, I think if you speak to the players, they know just how much he brings to the table. Same thing with Coach Straub. He is coaching the basketball team at Fort Lee, so he could not attend or speak. But just a true players coach. And a great addition. He was actually my former football coach. We stayed in touch, and when he heard of me getting the job, he reached out to me and it was without doubt a great choice to bring him aboard. Coach Ross, he does all our tech stuff, a really thankless job. He's there before games setting up. We got like 6 boxes worth of things to bring, and Coach Ross handles that all. So a coach or a player doesn't have to do it. I don't even know how to do it. So thank you, Coach Ross. It's you're a huge part of our success. Ramon, I missed you before when I was speaking about the scholarship committee. Another person doing a thankless job behind the scenes, handles all the finances. I don't think anybody else could have handled that without you. So thank you, Ramon. But without, I'd like to finish the night by thanking my players one more time. Just an unbelievable commitment to make this season happen out of you. I hope we can celebrate your wonderful accomplishments in arguably the toughest situation in Ridgewood football history one day in person. I love you all. To the seniors, please don't be strangers. And once again, my number is good forever. Please use it. Back to Jamie to complete the night. Thank you so much for everybody coming out. I hope we made this memorable.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I think you could see tonight why Ridgewood football is one of the top, in my opinion, the top public schools in the area. The coaching staff, the players. I think you get a true feel for Ridgewood football. I know these nights go long, but they're important because the kids deserve recognition. The coaches deserve recognition for all the hard work that they do for your kids, the hours and hours and hours they put in, the coaches and the kids is unbelievable. I mean, I know because you see them roll in the house at 7:30 at night, some nights from 3:30. Just an unbelievable commitment to the program, and I'm really looking forward to years to come. we're going to roll one more video at the end here. But before we do that, it's going to be our end of the season video. But before we do that, I just want to end with a couple of quick things. Dave just alluded to a couple of notes just from me, and then I'm just going to do a quick couple of thank yous, but a couple of notes from me. Dave just alluded to the 11 people on the field. And people ask me all the time, what makes football special? And I played here at Ridgewood, as I mentioned earlier, and my two boys both have finished and played here as well. I think what makes football special is that, and some of the boys alluded to this earlier, that on any one play in football, all 11 players have to do their job in order for a play to work. And it's kind of unlike any other sport. Like basketball, you can have the one stud who can kind of take over a game. But even if you have a running back in football, for example, if he doesn't have blockers in front of him, he goes nowhere. And I think that's kind of the unity that holds a football team together, is that one person is not bigger than the team. And I think we saw a lot of that tonight. And to be honest, I think what also makes football special is that not everybody can do football. Football is hard. People ask me sometimes, what is it about football that makes it that makes it so different? And I think when you practice, unlike most sports in Ridgewood, football, you practice 6 days a week and you play one game. And when you play lacrosse or baseball, I can speak to those because I've coached those, you get 2 or 3 games a week. So you practice and then you have a game, you practice and you have a game. Football is hard. You practice 6 days, you play for one day, it all culminates with one time. And so it's a true effort to play football at the high school level. It's a true commitment. So I'm really proud of everybody tonight, the coaches, the players. You put together a fantastic year this year under unbelievable circumstances. And I think the whole community is really proud. You gave us, the community, or the football community here, and maybe even the Ridgewood community, something to do on Friday nights during a time where we couldn't do much. And we got to stream games that we couldn't go to. I thank Keith and Laura for running the tickets and all that stuff, because that was important to get people out and get people to see these guys play. I think it really brought the community together, and I truly believe that. As far as thank yous, just real quick, for tonight running this, I hope everybody enjoyed it. I think you can tell that this wasn't your standard Zoom meeting. We basically practiced this only a couple of times, and to intersperse videos and then be running things while the kids are there and going to kids' houses and stuff. I mean, it's just amazing what we were able to do, and I'm not taking any credit for it. I do not know technology at all, so I had to sit back and watch some of the things that were done. But tonight, Mark Cossack and Phil Santiago are hunkered down in the Langsdale's house, running this whole show from a kitchen island and putting all this together, bouncing from one person to the next. Truly amazing. And Phil's videos tonight, I mean, when you watch that video, the one clip that comes to mind was, it was a pass from Kayafa to Feeney. I think it was Old Japan, or maybe Northern Highlands. And the clip changed from one view of the field to the other mid clip. That's unbelievable stuff that we get to see. So Phil, year after year, you show us unbelievable time and effort, and it pays off because what you give back to the kids that they'll be able to take with them for years is unbelievable. Lori Langsdale, tremendous job. Lori put all those baskets together with help, I will say. It was her idea to get these baskets together that each of you enjoyed tonight, with the glasses and everything else that you'll have forever. Just really an amazing job. Trevor, her husband, Dave, obviously, Christine Shanley, Christine Donikin, all those guys were instrumental in running tonight's program. And so I want to thank you all for that. And then last, two other quick ones. I want to thank, somebody alluded to it earlier today, the RJFA coaches. There's a lot of you out there. I myself was one. I coached my older son and then went back and coached Patrick. Your efforts, non-paid efforts, volunteer efforts, are what make Ridgewood football go. I really believe that. We teach the plays, that are here, and we just move them along to Chuck and to Dave. And I think that's really important. Keeps the continuity of Ridgewood football going. So I want to thank all of you who have coached over the years. I really appreciate it. Just as far as our board goes, I'm just going to mention the names because each one are instrumental in a COVID year this year of really, I really can't thank them enough for their hard work and dedication. It was a challenging year for sure. We didn't know whether we would have any money, honestly, for scholarships this year. It could have been zero. And these guys were not going to let that happen. And so all the credit goes to them. We had a fantastic team this year. We're putting some changes in for the years coming up. We learned a lot about our group this year and some of the changes and some of the old things that have been done in the past. And we're changing those to the future. And all good changes for the program. So I want to thank, I'm just going to read them off real quick. I'll put them in front of me. So again, you can see my technology. You know, I'm like looking over here while I'm supposed to be looking at the screen. But so we have Doug Messinio, Len Emanuel, who ran the golf tournament, broke a record for most revenue at the golf tournament this year. Greg Smith ran the Ad Journal, which is a thankless job, behind the scenes job. It's our biggest money maker. And it's all based on getting ads from the public. And, you know, in this year, as I mentioned, that was not an easy task. And Greg did a phenomenal job with his committee that he put together. Jeff Gluck, Mark Cossack, whose hand was in everything this year, runs Group Spot, which is our information highway for everything that goes on in Ridgewood football. I know he does other sports, but Mark, thank you for you know, rosters and pictures and everything that goes into that. It's really amazing. Patrick Dunnican, Christina Dunnican, who ran multiple things, but ran our clothing and merchandise and shattered records this year for what was done in previous years, which is fantastic. We needed every penny of that. They actually ran all the way back. I remember going all the way back to the kickoff dinner that we did at Laura Grasso's house. She was nice enough to allow us to use her house. We put a tent up in the back, an open tent. We had gone to about 6 different places, 6 different options trying to get the kickoff dinner in. And she offered up her house and we actually got it off. And Christina ran that whole thing. Tremendous job. Peg Shannad ran some of the merchandise as well. Trevor did a ton of stuff besides him and his wife, allowing us to use their house more times than they should have for the after parties, the before parties in their backyard. Unbelievable. Thank you so much for allowing us to use your house. Ramon Hache is our treasurer, has been the treasurer here for seems like 100 years, but he keeps us all in line, tells us exactly where we are, what we need, what we can do and what we can't do. John Kayafa helped a ton this year, worked on the chain gang. Pam Schmiel ran some things for us. John Oros was a major contributor, and Laura Grasso, obviously you heard tonight, did a great job for us with tickets, and she was a good sounding board for me this year in a lot of different areas. So Laura, thank you very much for that. And that's pretty much the board, and Dave, obviously, of course, you know, came every week and gave us a status of the football program, where we were, and you know, what we could do for him, and what we could do to make this season better for them. So that's all my thank yous. Again, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Crazy way to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if I get some text that maybe we should do it this way every year, you know, where everybody gets to kind of lounge around in their pajamas and you know, do whatever they want to do. But I truly appreciate everybody's effort. And so back to Phil. I will not come back on. You will not see me. And here's the last video of the night. Good night, everybody.
Costco, the carry. Andrew Jordan. Cross midfield. Pushed out of bounds. Inside the Red Valley 20-yard. Bartels is brought down. Fumbles the football. Anthony Vaccarella recovers. Pushed out of bounds across midfield. Shawn Emanuel. 30-20-10. Touchdown, Ridgewood. We're playing a fucking freshman now here. Let's have a fucking fun tonight, boys. Break down, break down, break down. Ready to break.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Appreciate it. Thanks, coaches. Thanks, players. Thanks, families. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, coaches.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Thanks everyone
good
for
night.
signing on. Thank you.
Ring season.